Questionnaires, a formal assessment that can be used in math class. So what are questionnaires? Questionnaires are formative assessments that are given to students periodically throughout the school year in order to understand the individual students better. In math class, questionnaires can be used to understand a student's particular feelings towards math. They can also help teachers to understand a student's particular comfort level with a particular math skill. What are the benefits of questionnaires? The benefits of questionnaires are to better understand the student's inner feelings. A lot of students have a phobia of math, or do not think that math is fun at all or like a fun subject. Some teachers do not know certain students' feelings simply because the students are too shy or do not like to express their emotions. Questionnaires also help teachers to understand what parts of the math lesson the students do not understand. Instead of spending time or a lot of time teaching all the skills again, the teacher can just reteach the parts of the lesson that the students do not understand. Questionnaires also provide students with the opportunity to self-assess, which is a very important skill to have in life. So what do questionnaires look like? Questionnaires can either be fill-in-the-blank sentences, open-ended questions, multiple choice, ranking systems, or smiley faces versus frowny face, like you see here. Students with difficulties reading or writing may require assistance to fill out the questionnaires. They can also record their answers orally to the teacher. Questionnaires can also be provided in paper format or on their personal technological devices. Teachers can differentiate the questionnaires based on the student's language abilities. For example, the open-ended questionnaire would be for students who are more advanced in language arts. They can simply fill in their open-ended response in a couple words or sentences. For students who are not as advanced in language arts, they might be given a questionnaire that looks like the one on the screen here, which has a question, and then the student can either answer a smiley face or a frowny face based on how they feel about the question. So questionnaires can be used in any class, and they can be especially helpful in math class. Each day after the lesson is given, teachers can have students do a number of things. They can have the students work on practice problems, group work, etc., in order to practice the math skills that they learned that day. Teachers can assess students through these formative assessments. Even before the questionnaire is given, teachers can get a good sense of who knows what through these formative assessments. Then, at the end of the unit, teachers can provide students with a math questionnaire and ask them a series of questions. If they would like, the first couple of questions could be about how the student feels about math in general. The second half of the question could be more about the specific math skills that they learned in the unit and how they feel about the skills. So here is an example of a fill-in-the-blank questionnaire. It starts off with some general questions about math, and then it moves on to some percentage questions about the percentage lesson. And this is asking students to rank on a scale of 1 to 5 how they feel about certain skills that they have learned. So the lesson plan that I made for students in this class was about using proportions to figure out percentages. So one of the activities in my lesson plan was to have students pretend that they were at a restaurant and they had to figure out how much the tip was and then ultimately how much the total bill was. This gave students the opportunity to apply the math skills that they learned in the lesson to a real-world situation. Students worked in groups to complete this assignment. Group work in general education classrooms are nice because all students, even special education students, get the opportunity to work together and talk through things. Special education students can also benefit from working with peers because they get a different perspective on how to do something. However, it's very hard to assess special education students while working in groups. Therefore, it's important that teachers follow up with each student with an appropriate formative assessment, such as a questionnaire. So this questionnaire can be, like I said, can have general math questions, and then it can also have questions that pertain to the math skills in general. For instance, in this example, actual questions about how it pertains to percentages. So a few general questions could be fill in the blank. So Math makes me feel blank, and the student can fill in how they feel about math. One of the percentages questions, when you rank 1 to 5, 1 being the lowest, 5 being the highest. A question could be, you know, how well do you know how to apply percentages to real life on a scale of 1 to 5? And students can then circle how they feel. So this is Alex. So the lesson plan that I wrote for was about a hypothetical 11th grade student, and my class is named Alex. He represents a student who has ADHD and learning disability in math. After receiving Alex's questionnaire, which he filled out the example hypothetically, I learned that he is not really a fan of math. I also learned that he understands what the word percentage is, but he's having difficulty using proportions to calculate these percentages. Since I know what he is struggling with now, I can help determine strategies for Alex to solve these types of problems. I can also provide him with additional opportunities to practice, as well as to allow him to use a student-created note card on formative and summative tests in the future. In general, I can also help Alex stay on task by redirecting him when necessary, providing him with opportunities to work with positive peers, as well as help him develop better study habits. Maybe with these new study skills and extra help, Alex will begin to like math a little more and become a little more confident in class. So questionnaires are great because they can be used at all age levels from K to 12 and can be even used in post-secondary settings. They can be used for every student in every type of classroom and are very adaptable. So questionnaires overall and all formal assessments are great tools for teachers. Teachers can take answers from the questionnaires and use them to inform their next lesson. Teachers can focus their next lesson on topics that many students are struggling with, and they cannot spend too much time or any time at all on topics that students seem to fully understand. In addition to reteaching certain material in order to move students towards the target learning goals, teachers should also try to incorporate more practice problems on the topics that need more work. They can then reassess to see if the students have improved. In conclusion, teachers should definitely take advantage of questionnaires as a formative assessment tool. They provide students the opportunity for self-assessment, provide teachers with information that can inform their future instruction, and they come in many different formats in order to gain the best information from all types of different students. Consider using questionnaires in your classroom in the future. Thank you so much for watching and have a great day.